All right. Well, hey, happy New Year, everyone. I hope you had a stellar New Year so far. We'll be 7 days in, Kevin.
7 or 8. I've lost count already, but it's off
Yeah,
to a good start.
in a good way. I mean, we didn't wait for 2026, man. We threw gas on the campfire in December, and boy, it is showing. So, folks, welcome. I hope you are having a good time. And today's show, I can't even stand it. I'm so excited for this show. Um, wow, you're in for a treat. So we had Kevin Bond. He's leading up the men's division of the IM magazine, and we have a lot of key players here. We have co-founder, chief editor. We have contributors. Fortunately, from the Hounds of Business, Kevin is one of those folks. It's going to be a stellar show. You're going to get a lot. So, folks, you know how we roll here. Feel free to comment, right? Ask questions. We'll do our best to get to them. And this is going to be a fantastic episode. So, before we get going, all right, Kevin, how was did you do anything special for the holidays, for New Year? Did y'all do anything different? Same? What?
Well, I just try to relax the best I can, recharge the batteries. A lot of momentum at the end of 2025 as we head into 2026. Played a little guitar. Some of the guitars behind me in the family, so to speak. Got to tune everything else out and tune the music in. So good to recharge, but ready to rock and roll as we start a new year.
Yeah, and I was trying to upload the picture that I had of me playing the guitar 2 weeks in. The video would just make everybody not want to watch the show. So I didn't want to do that to the special guest, right? But it's funny because my daughter's a natural. Right? She could just pick it up and go. She went to her first guitar lesson yesterday, and then they just threw her in the band and let her play there. I was like, "Are you serious?" I said, and I teased her. I said, and it's kind of funny because it's kind of true. My fingers are like sticks, like twigs. They don't bend. They don't like to move, and I'm getting old. And then you put that with her, she got gummy worm fingers and she's young. So it took me 16 hours to riff like a little thing. It took her 15 seconds to play like Green Day song. I'm like, oh, wow.
Well, I heard what you were playing, Mike. You sent me a little video of it, and I think you made Ozzy Osbourne pretty proud. I think you were playing some Iron Man, if I recall, and I was pretty impressed for just starting out.
Well, thank you. But the funniest part is that I found the hardest thing probably you could start off playing BB King. I love blues. I love BB King. I'm like Sister Act. I'm musically eclectic, right? So yeah, I love it. But when I started playing it, I said, wow, man, I have way more respect for what talent he brought to it. There's, just to do the short riff is like, wow, man, it's unbelievable. So, but because she teases me about being better, I wanted everybody to see this is how we have fun over here in my neck of the woods. And she ran out of gas on an electric scooter. So this is my youngest daughter's. And then she calls me because she's ran out of battery. And I was like, yeah, well, don't make fun of my guitar playing no more. And I might tow you home. Right. So
well, you can't go the extra mile, Mike, if you run out of gas.
Right. You ran out of gas on an electric car. I said, hey, apple don't fall far from the tree, man. So we had a good time. So real quick before we get going, oh look, Renee is here. Good to see you. Royce, Omar, Nathan. Oh wow. All right. So real quick, I want to give a shout out because, like we said, the Hounds dumped gas on December. And I don't know if you guys were able to join us December 17th. Holy moly, man! So many amazing heart-centered people and organizations come rushing. They were there. They were just spot on, giving out tremendous value. And so I wanted to share this with everybody real quick. So my privilege, honor. I love Podfest. Podfest has got it going on. Been around 12 years, top level people. And you know how we are. We just don't eat the buffet. We promote the restaurant, right? Like I don't take anything for granted, And so we went out there and they have just been so generous. They've been so amazing. And guess what? Not only did I get up here to talk about something that I love to talk about, right? Uncomfortable but necessary conversations that people don't like to talk about. But then it was an easy intro. We had a private screening of Kindness Worldwide's film documentary for such a time as this. And Wendy, the director, popped in and watched this and said, hey, how about we showcase and feature this at the event, right? So for the VIPs, are going to be able to see this firsthand, Kevin. So I'll stop rambling. Well, I know you're excited as you can be about it, right?
I'm very excited. I'll be hopping on a plane next Wednesday for Orlando and looking forward to to seeing you and many others that'll be there. And of course, Michael Binko, my chief strategy officer, is going to be there as well, and part of the Q&A after we do the screening of the film. So I just am so excited for more audiences to see this film. You've seen it, obviously. Many in your hounds have seen a private screening of it, and it's real people, it's real life, real stories, and it's real impact. And I know that more lives will continue to be touched and changed, and even lives will be saved by what will come out in this powerful film. So looking forward to it. Going to be in the home of the Magic Kingdom, and there's magic in our midst for sure, and more magic going to be happening next week at PodFest.
Unbelievable. I'm blessed. Just Dr. Phil, I'm just a good old boy from Kentucky. Yeah, until y'all found me. I mean, look at it. And then what do? We pay it forward. We push others up. It's just miraculous. So we've got at least 9 hounds going, speaking at the event. And PodFest, I love them because even though they don't need anything. They're pretty self act like they do. They appreciate, they pay it forward. And we already got an after party plan for the Global Tea Break, D. Scott Smith, for folks who are leaving PodFest, and some people couldn't make it this year. So we're going to open up that tailgate party for the Friday after PodFest. So if you guys want information, DM me. Check out my LinkedIn profile, Redneck1, Mike Asherbrander. I'll put it on the features section. You won't miss anything. All right. We're going to make sure people get plugged into where you fit in. No strays out there. All right. So let's see. What else do I got? Oh, April Wyatt. She's got her Bali retreat coming up in October. She's already got half of them booked. So we're looking to get the rest of them booked in a waiting list because, people, come and go. But April Wyatt will be hosting while I'm at PodFest with Kevin and all the good folks out there next week. And then we've got Victoria, Miss Pennsylvania, right? So because she's an ambassador of Kindness Worldwide as well. April Wyatt will be hosting that next Tuesday on the Mike King ESPN radio show. And also, we're going to have a stellar panel with April all about how leaders and innovators and visionaries can help our youth, right? Mental health awareness, help them from self-harm, and really leading up to the May event at the Olympic Training Center at Lake Placid, right? With Orta and all these great folks that are making it happen. So, woo! Here's the thing, shameless plug. Don't do this alone, folks. If you have a passion and a desire to go be somebody, do something special, you just need the people, resources, and support to get it done. Hey, if you don't feel like you're alone, don't feel like you're not good enough, hey, send me a DM. I got a group call. Would love for you to come test drive, see what we're all about. So if these folks out here that you're about to meet, they're amazing people. That's what this is about, getting in the right room with the right folks to do the right thing. So I think we're good. I think we're ready to roll the intro. Oh, yeah. And so, yeah, we got the edgy branch of the Hounds. They have amplified their coffee chat. This is amazing. These are brick and mortar, serious business professionals who have decades of experience. They're looking for speakers, people that get to know them. They put trust first, relationships. And I just had the pleasure of speaking at Nicole Summit. And I just connected with 8 amazing high-level people. So that's it. Remember this, and I'll stop. The most attractive people at the singles club, they don't need a sales pitch, folks. They just need to be. Show up, be you, do your thing, love people, right? Give value, good things happen. We're going to prove that. So y'all hang on. We're going to roll the intro and bring these amazing folks up. How about it? Ready?
Let's do it.
You got your mic all charged up and everything, man. Woo! This mic and that mic. All right, let's go.
Are you looking to grow your network and your net worth with other high-level, heart-centered professionals? Then grab a seat and your favorite beverage and join Mike Asherbrander, the Redneck Connector. It's time for the Hounds of Business Community Happy Hour.
All right, folks. Well, you know how I like to do it. Just going to open up the gate, let them all run in. Let's go wild. So welcome to the stage, Kevin Vaughn of Men Let's Talk Network. We got Kevin Smith, who I just accidentally knocked off because that's what I do. And then we've got Jennifer, all right, Jennifer Thompson, chief editor. Editor. And then we've got who is back there, 2 a.m. or something, 12 o'clock. Our Hollywood stuntman turned soul guide, Curtis Rivers. Welcome you all. So thrilled, honored to have you. So I tell you what, let's start around. Give 20, 30 seconds. Tell people who you are and what you do, what you're passionate about. We'll go around clockwise. So Kevin Vaughn, go ahead, brother.
Oh, thank you so much, Mike. Thank you so much for being on your program, man. We're excited about the team and all my colleagues that are as well. Kevin Vaughn, director of the I Am Magazine Men's Division. I'll put that out there first. That's the first order of business, if you will. Also, too, ladies and gentlemen, I'm an engineer, podcast host, and also a consultant in the business world. Thank you so much, Mike.
All right. And we had a show yesterday. If y'all want to go to Hounds of Business on YouTube, check out that conversation. That could have been an 8-hour or day conversation.
Yeah, easy.
Woo, that's why I'm so glad we get to continue this with these fine folks. So appreciate you. You are all fire, my friend.
Excited, man. Thank you.
You fit in good. And speaking of fitting in, right? I wouldn't say Bert and Ernie. It's more like Ernie and Ernie. So Kevin Smith, the Kindness Worldwide. How are you, my friend? Tell people what you do.
I'm doing great. Well, most people know my story, but the truth is I'm just an ordinary guy who was touched by the actions of an ordinary woman who did an extraordinary thing. She was kind. And this act of kindness and simply a desire to thank her in a more meaningful way took on a life of its own. It ultimately inspired me to form the global nonprofit Kindness Worldwide, which has a vision to create a culture of kindness in communities throughout the world. And Mike, you've said this many times, others have as well, kind of tongue in cheek, but there are some who said I lost my wallet on Good Friday morning, 2023, and simultaneously lost my mind. There are times I wonder if they're right. It's been an adventure of a lifetime, to say the least, but I'm hanging on for dear life. And let's rock and roll. This movement's well underway, and we need more kindness in the world now more than ever. And that's what this movement's all about.
Hey, well said, my friend. And it is. I didn't mean for that to catch on, but it wasn't hard. And every time you leave, even virtual stages, people, hey, make sure Kevin's got his wallet. Everybody's.
Well, God help me if I lose it a second time. That's all I have to say.
Yeah. Oh, your wife ain't gonna run two movements. I don't know if she's on.
My wife now knows better to send me to the grocery store.
You know what? All the men out there, I'm sitting there thinking, I might lose my wallet on purpose now because I hate going to the store. I buy way too much. So good idea, Kevin. Thank you. And Curtis Rivers, my friend, even though you are out here helping people with life transitions and finding harmony and happiness, you can't stay out of the game, man. So you are always just doing amazing things. Tell people what you do, man, what you're about.
Thanks very much, Mike. So Curtis Rivers, that moved from being a Hollywood stuntman to a soul guide. And basically, I found myself in a life that everybody else thought was very glamorous and very successful. Being in the movies, breaking world records. I wrote a book that did really well, won some film awards, that kind of thing. And I was very, very unhappy and miserable. And so I've made that pivot to what really matters and what makes a difference, which is actually helping people do that same thing. So now I help people to reimagine, reignite, and realign in their lives when they're stuck and don't know where to go next. So that's me in a nutshell.
Yeah, a far cry from the 17-year-old life coach I saw a year ago, right? Like you actually have real world experience. It's an amazing story. I can relate to a lot of it, right? The little engine who wasn't supposed to, and then you did, and you're like, I'm not happy, and now you're finding chapter 2 of happy by helping others.
Exactly that.
Yeah, only in the Hounds, man, where you can find a whole bunch of people like this, a blessed guy, right? And then that leads me to last, but certainly not least, Jennifer Thompson, the driving force, along with Jade, right? And so, I can't say names, so give her, and we got a video of Jade. Do not let me forget to give her intro before we kick this off, all right? So go ahead, take it away, my amazing friend.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having us here today. And I am Jennifer Thompson. I'm the editor-in-chief of I Am Magazine International. And I'm a storyteller, a curator, a community builder, passionate about amplifying voices and inspiring growth, purpose, and real transformation. So through I Am Magazine, I work with leaders, creators, and change makers to help them share their stories in a way that's authentic, impactful, and media ready.
There you go. Look at all y'all. Y'all came prepared. The host of this show is the least prepared. Imagine that. No, we're gonna have a good time. And let's go ahead and Jade is an amazing lady. She really is. Her story is absolutely, phenomenal. And, it reminds me of what lesson I learned, thanks to people like Curtis Rivers and all of you folks and April Wyatt. I used to think, well, if I produce valuable things, that makes me valuable, makes me worthy. And then because of this process and this evolution of the last few years and help, learning and growing and being pushed up, like Kevin says, Kevin Vaughn, iron sharpens iron. Then I realized, no, I am valuable. That's why I can produce valuable things. But the horse before the cart, right? So let's go ahead and listen to this short message from Jade, because without her, without the vision that she had, literally, she had a dream, woke up, and went, I just got a whole business plan dumped in my brain last night. And she wasn't kidding. And now from the I Am magazine, it's been around a couple of years. Now the men's launch has busted from that. And I couldn't be happier. So let's hear from Jade, because she's at 2 a.m. where she's at. So poor thing. We can make Kevin or Curtis get up at 12 a.m., but we're not gonna do that. All right. So hang on, and we'll get to the questions in just a second, folks.
Hello, everyone. I am Yadira Gonzalez Munoz, founder of I Am Magazine International. And I want to share something that I've seen over the years. The way leadership looks today has changed. It's no longer just about titles or achievements or how much you know. What truly matters now is who you are, what you have lived, and the story you carry within you. Because your story doesn't end with success. Your story begins where purpose, identity, and impact meet. That is exactly why we created the I Am Magazine Men's Division. This division exists to create space for men to be seen fully and honestly, not just as professionals or leaders, but as human beings with depth, values, struggles, growth, and wisdom. We're not here to promote an image. We are here to honor presence, to give voice to lived experience, to highlight men who lead not only with their minds, but with integrity and heart. Today, media isn't about ego or visibility. It's about legacy. And it's the bridge between what you have built and what you are leaving behind. So if you feel that inner nudge, that quiet knowing that your journey could inspire, guide, or help others, this is your invitation. Apply to be featured to the I Am Magazine Men's Division and allow your story to be shared with meaning, respect, and purpose. You don't need to be someone else or to become someone else. You already are someone of value. Your voice matters, your experience matters, and your story deserves a platform that honors it. So welcome to I Am. This is where stories become a legacy, and I look forward to seeing you in the magazine. And by the way, Happy New Year to everyone, and thank you, Mike, for this invitation. Bye, everyone.
Yep, she's always that amazing, if you're wondering. Yep. And so, Jennifer, real quick, do you want to add anything? Because I know she can't be here, but I love the real quick thing about you were like, hey, I'm enjoying retirement and doing my thing. And she's like, you're going to run the magazine. You're like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm having fun. And look at you now.
I was happy. I tell you, I was very happy being retired, enjoying my grandkids, and do all the things that I had not done while I was in my working years. But once I jumped into it, I realized how much I enjoy it, how much it gave meaning to my life, and how much I understood that media isn't about visibility. It is about credibility. And nowadays, more than ever, leaders don't need to talk more, but they need to be understood. So following with what she said, IFRS doesn't come from titles anymore. It really comes from trust at scale. Now, today, people don't follow the credentials, and you guys know this. You can have all the titles that you want, but they follow clarity. Media is how leaders show how they think and what they stand for and how they make sense of this world, of what they've lived. So if you're not telling your story right now, someone else is defining it. You have to be in control of your story. You have to put yourself out there. And media is the modern boardroom. That's the way it is.
Yeah, as always, well said. So, Curtis, I know it's like really late where you're at and the internet's shoddy. So I'll start with you. I love that answer because I want to ground this, right, to kick this off. why do you believe media and storytelling becomes such a critical leadership tool right now? Why is it so important in your estimation, Curtis?
I think, you know, as has just been said, like really well, and hit upon a real key point, is people are starting to, especially men, are starting to now engage from the heart. So we've seen all that macho, that ego, and you know, flexing in powerful positions of leadership, and that doesn't wash anymore. And so it's quite exciting that there's a whole new generation of people coming up who, like myself, who are open-hearted and kind and caring, and that's not a non-masculine trait. It's actually a strong, all-rounded masculine trait to lead with the heart. So mindset's good, strong, assertive mindset. But if we're too in the mind and we're too much in that kind of masculine space, we're only a part. We're not a complete leader. But by bringing in that heart-centered wisdom and working in unison like that, we become a well-rounded leader. And I think it really shows. It helps us with our integrity, and it helps us be an aligned, all-round person, and become a magnet for others like that.
Yeah, well said, as usual. And I say well said because you live it. That's what I'm saying. Like, you know, I always joked about this. I say, you know, because I grew up in the country, and you don't have to grow up in the country to be around machismo and tough, you know, and farm. Nothing wrong with it. It's just you don't have to do it, right? You don't have to lead that way. And to me, I mean, hearing some of your all stories, it's a real true show of strength that you were able to be yourself, even in that kind of culture. Right. I mean, the stuntman world, I can only imagine. It's pretty tough. You know, it's not a cake job. You're a tough person. It's like military and firefighting.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you can be tough.
Hounds and tough guys, and we'll just sit around and talk about it killing. Yeah.
Yeah. I think you can still be tough. You know, it doesn't matter. You can still, like in my trade, I could still be a stuntman, take a fall, take a hit, land hard, dust myself down. And still be kind and caring around that behind camera. You know, they're not mutually exclusive. So, you know, that mindset and the heart set, and you know, to lead from the heart is a good thing.
That's a good question, Jeremy. He said, why am I only seeing this magazine for the first time? That's why I'm thrilled. That's what I saw. I said, man, more people need to see this, because you don't sell stuff. You don't sell inspiration and real stories and camaraderie and pushing people up. You just share it. And that's what this magazine is all about. I am's been that way already. But 49% of the readers were men and was a women's magazine. So that was it. It was like, and Kevin, I ain't going to spoil it. Kevin Vaughn, you can answer the question, but I love it when Jade says, you came to her and you're like, hey, who's leading the magazine? Tell us that.
Oh, man, it was powerful. Thank you so much again, guys. You know, I heard guys years ago, a leader in one of the conferences says, man, you got to get excited about everything, man, you know, in order to make things happen. So that was one thing. But also, too, Mike, while we was talking, I looked up the population of our planet. It's about 8.2 billion people right now. And guess what? As Jennifer mentioned, every one of us have a story. That's amazing. And when you bring it down to the state of Georgia, where I'm at, guys, can you believe this? I could not believe it, that people are lonely in the state of Georgia. I said, how can we got 10 million people in the state? How can we be lonely? So that tells me something. We're not talking to each other, right? We're not getting to know each other. And that's what the I Am magazine is all about. That's what the men's division part is all about, guys, is the getting to know each other, Mike and guys, so we can share information, share storytelling. But the whole purpose of all of this is that people want to be heard, right? Go on TikTok right now. They just want to be heard. They don't care if there's nobody on there. They're still talking. It's amazing.
That's right,
Mike. So that's what it's all about. So I'm excited about I Am magazine. And we got to help people tell their story. We got to help people get the story out. But most of all, we want them to share who they really are. I think Jennifer talked about that, and Yadira talked about, we just want you to be you. So we're going to give them the right platform so they can be them and enjoy their wonderful lives.
Hey, well said. And Kevin Smith, right? So why are you here? I mean, why do you believe that media and storytelling is such a crucial tool for leadership right now? Because you got a lot to do, but you jumped on this like white on rice, man. So
Absolutely.
Why is this important?
Well, everyone has a story, and everyone wants to be seen. I mean, Kevin said everyone wants to be heard. And, you know, I think I take it to another level. Everyone wants to be seen. And what I mean by that, I always talk about see the good and be the good and go the extra mile, but it really gets into getting people being seen. And that means they want their story to be understood. And everyone has a story, and there's a lot behind the scenes, more than meets the eye. And Curtis touched on it. We often, especially as men, we look at titles, we look at achievements, we look at success. I mean, there's the stereotypes that define men. And we can either be defined by the stereotype, or we can redefine it and change the stereotype. And look, the stereotypes of men is, masculine. We gotta be strong. We can't show our emotions. And look, I've always been my own person, and I'm kind of, comfortable in my own skin. And so parts of the stereotype, I mean, look, I play guitar and all the macho things, and I can shred a little bit, and, I work out and all that. But look, I wear my emotions on my sleeve. The film For Such a Time as This, those that have seen it, you'll see a few tears coming down my cheeks, and it's real and it's raw, and I'm okay with it. And I think as we lead by our own example, and the men in this magazine are doing just that. They're being vulnerable, but they're being available. And when we lead the way, when we show the way, others are inspired to follow our example. And it's okay. It's okay to be vulnerable. When I say, when we're being vulnerable, we're being authentic, we're being available. And when we share our stories, we welcome other people into our world to share their stories too. And that's how true connection is made. That's how true friendships are formed. And this magazine is all about sharing our stories and welcoming others into our world and being part of theirs. And by the way, I want to commend Jennifer, because she touched on earlier about how she was comfortable, and she was retired and just had this comfortable life. And then all of a sudden there was a calling. Her sister reached out to her, and she didn't hesitate. She followed the call. And that's not easy to do, but she did it. And I can relate to that in many respects myself. I was comfortable before the journey of kindness worldwide began. I thought I had the rest of my life figured out, and there was a calling, and it takes courage to follow it and to answer it. But, many of us, we focus about leaving a legacy, and that's important. But I think before we leave a legacy, we've got to live a legacy too. And all of us that are part of this publication, that are contributors, that are in the Hounds community, we're all doing it our own way. And so I'm just very proud, very inspired to be part of this magazine, and just to do my part, like we all are, to make our world a better place and lead by our example.
Yeah, that's what I was standing. I don't have a soundboard. There you go. And one thing you touched on, me and Curtis Rivers up there, we talked about this. I said, look, I don't cry over dumb stuff like spilled milk. But when things are tough, somebody has cancer, right? When things are serious business, I don't know how you not, because if you hold it in, man or female, male or female, it's not healthy. And to process, I love that. And again, we're not sitting here being victims and whining. This is purposeful. This is, hey, I'm saying this because I don't want you to drive off the cliff. I want you to have a head up, right? Make your own mistakes, sure, but learn from other people's mistakes. That's why I've elevated the last 3 years. I've learned so much from you guys and partners and Hounds. I mean, it was like a rocket ship of self-growth, because being around that support and that wisdom is priceless. And that's what they get, right, from this magazine. It's like instant download of, hey, I can do this. This is how I can do this. It's just absolutely remarkable. So let me go. Well, Jennifer, if you don't mind, what problem does this new men's launch magazine, right? What's it actually hit home before, right? So, because a lot of men were reading the I Am magazine, so fill us in on that. I mean, they were missing something. So, what do you think that this helps? Really helps men with, and problems that they didn't have a solution or an intentional outlet to focus on.
Well, I think really that for a long time, men have either been pushed to that hustle culture, or box in stereotypes in different things, with very little space to talk about their mental health, their faith, relationships, or fatherhood, even failures, or healing without judgment. There was not a space for that. And we see that on men that are just struggling with many different areas in life. And the Men's Division magazine creates a space where men can show up whole, where strengths include vulnerability, reflection, growth. It reduces the isolation by letting men see themselves in other men's stories and realize that they're not alone. So this is really not about fixing men. It's about finally giving their stories the respect and visibility that they deserve. Especially it's important for men because there hasn't always been a space to tell the full story of leadership and their pressures. Like I said, their failure, their growth. The storytelling gives those stories reach and relevance. That's the purpose of the men's magazine, a digital platform built for contribution, not necessarily promotion, but turning lived experience into credibility and community. Because it's not about content, it's about presence. That's what we want the men's division to be there for men.
Absolutely. Kevin Bond, yeah, I know this is your time to shine, man. So, fill us in. What do you think is the real key benefit and void or problem that it solves that this is an answer to?
Yeah, we're just going to expand on what Jennifer's talking about, guys. And just for the audience, we got to spell out the word men's, right? And what that's all about. So the first part of that, Mike and everybody, is the mentoring, right? We're going to be able to mentor each other around the world. That's powerful, guys. So that M stands for mentoring. So that's the first thing. We're going to mentor our young men, our older men, our midlife men, all the above, guys. So that's going to be powerful. So our mentoring program is going to be powerful as we grow that out. The next one is going to be, we're going to be empowering men. And Jennifer mentioned that too as well a little bit. We're going to be empowering men. They already have the power, right? We just didn't know we had it. So we're going to help empower the men all around the globe so they can shine at a greater level that they're already at. And then, of course, we're going to help navigate them. People have questions like you guys. I had questions, right, growing up as a man. How do I do this? Where do I go to do this? How do I handle my family? How do I do the money stuff? So navigating, we're going to help navigate, Mike, some folks around the world as well with our network. And last but not least, we're going to be supporting them, right? We're not going to tell people what to do. We're not going to force people what to do. We're going to be supporting them on their decision making. Our goal is just to guide men all across the globe to get to their real self, to get to their authentic self, and most of all, get to where they want to be. So we're excited about the I Am Magazine men's division. Everybody get excited.
Oh, I'm behaving right now. It's very hard because I'm so excited.
Yeah, it's hard to contain myself really a little bit.
It is. Look, even Curtis, man, it's like, 4 a.m. or something. He's still excited. So let's go to Curtis. Curtis, who mentioned this earlier? Who said something about credentials and all of that? That was very telling. I want to dive in a little bit. I'm going to call it the shift from expert to trusted voice, right? Yeah, you should be an expert, but now that's not for a lot of us, right? So on that note, Kevin Smith, we've all seen a lot of credentials lose their way, right? Or at least go to the backseat. What actually builds trust today in the noisy world, in your opinion?
It's a question for me, Mike.
Yep, Kevin Smith.
Well, I think, trust is being true to your word. I grew up in an era where your word was your bond, a handshake sealed a deal. It's sad, but I think in many cases, society has gotten away from that.
Yeah.
But when you're trustworthy and you follow through, you lead by example, that forms credible relationships, friendships, not just acquaintances. Things are not just transactional, they're transformational. And it's all about leading by example and just following through and doing what you say. And I mean, leadership in general, I think there's a vacuum of leadership. I think we have a leadership crisis throughout the world at large. And I think too many are in leadership positions, but that doesn't make you a leader. It's your actions that make you a leader. And bringing people together instead of, instead of stoking the flames, we should be diffusing them. And that's true whether we're in business, that's true whether we're in education or media or we're in elected office. And I think at the end of the day, regardless of our positions in life, every single one of us has the ability to be a leader just by the choices we make, leading by our own example. And if we are the best versions of ourselves each and every day, each and every interaction, each and every moment, then that'll inspire others to do the same and follow our example. So, I believe in the law of attraction. Positivity begets more positivity, and negativity does the same. And so if we want our world to be a better place, we need individually, instead of pointing the finger at others, we really need to look in the mirror and point the finger at ourselves. And because we can control our own actions, behaviors, We can't control others. But if we leave our own example and be the best version of ourselves, that can only mean good things and hopefully inspire others to follow our lead. And then it becomes like concentric circles. You know, we each could be the ripple to start a global wave to really make the world around us a better place.
Yep.
Ooh, if you didn't knock that ball up and hit it right to Curtis Rivers, man, wow, that could have been scripted any better. Because seriously, very few people just kind of embody that openness that only comes from taking personal responsibility, diving deep inside. That's nasty, right? We don't want to do that. We don't want to face shame and guilt and all of this. But Curtis did it, and that's why he's such a great guide and helping others do it too. Because that's the only way, right, Curtis, that you're going to realize your best self, do something that you never dreamed possible, and that's your wheelhouse. So on that note, what actually builds trust today in this noisy world? Why is that so important? Because few know as better than you, I mean, of how important that is. Go ahead, brother.
I think everything Kevin just said, and that was said perfect, but also maybe add to that or just drive it home that integrity and honesty and integrity and being authentic, authenticity is bandied around a lot today as a bit of a buzzword, but genuinely, like real deep authenticity as a leader, being somebody who actually listens, who actually cares and means it, whilst going back to being heart-centered, very, very powerful. So, I think that's at the core of it moving forward, and that's what's needed now. To keep it real and be authentic.
Yeah, well said. And I've seen people, it's not just what you say, it's not just the marketing, right? You give people space. You start coaching before the sale's done, right? You practice what you preach. And I think that's very powerful. We're not going to get on a rabbit trail, but a lot of gurus told you keep dripping, keep bothering, keep doing this for a client prospect, and you didn't. You loved on them, but you didn't pester them. You didn't do all that stuff. And they come back and was like, you're my guy, essentially because you practice what you preached. And that's what giving this magazine is going to be for a lot of people, because that first kind of permission, right? To, hey, I don't have to be something I'm not to be successful. I need to figure out who I am, who I want to be, right? Oh, and Kevin Vaughn's about to pop and define success for yourself. That's the whole thing. I didn't know I could define success. Everybody, whether they say it or not, I grew up poor and my dad worked in a factory setting, so I was supposed to do it. I didn't know I was able to say, no, I'm going to go out there and do great things. And this is what I noticed. You got it. So anybody else want to chime in on that before I move on? Because I want to show this too. So see, every time I get something said, it moves. There it is. So also, because of the power of relationships, because trust comes first, it doesn't mean you don't need business processes. Don't send me hate mail. What it means is the horse comes before the cart. And it was a simple introduction. You ladies said, who do you know who might fit this criteria? And I said, Agape Garcia, right? The founder of Confronting DV. And so look who's on the cover. I mean, it's, so if you don't believe trust ain't the secret weapon, I don't know. But it's not to convince people to start being trustworthy. It's to say, if you're that person that values that, you can build a successful business on that foundation, right, folks?
Absolutely.
And people,
titles can open. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I'm always talking. Titles can always open doors, but they don't create the connection that you need.
Right.
People actually trust authenticity in leaders who are willing to show their humanity and their growth and the lessons that they've learned along the way. Trust is built through alignment, when values, your actions, your voice consistently match with what you say you are, and people get to feel it. That is the lived experience that carries the weight, because it reflects resilience and integrity and not perfection on display. That's what we have to remember. That's what it's all about.
That's right. And this is what I love, all of you, but especially under this banner of I Am and Men's Division. It's like peacock feathers. We're not trying to convince, persuade. We're just saying, hey, you're not alone, right? If a peacock sees another peacock, they know what that means. That's it. Hey, you don't have to be ashamed of stuff. You don't have to be all of that jazz. And this is why it's so much fun, y'all. And again, we're not sitting there bragging. I want people to go out there who think they can't do what they secretly want to do, right? Subconsciously, They got that ambition in their heart. They want to go out there and help people who went through the same crap and challenges in life they went through, but they don't have the people, resources, or support to get it done. And this is what this is why we've rolled under the Hounds banner underneath this I Am magazine, because that's the gateway. You connect with Curtis, that one seed could be the thing that changes that person, and they could change countless lives that we'll never even know about. It may sound corny, but that's true. That's what whole Kindness Worldwide's about.
Yeah.
You know, who thought that was going to work when it happened? I mean, you know, but hey, spoiler alert, it did. You know, and so in this snowball. All right, so let me ask this. I want to job into it because I mean we're going to be here till midnight. Curtis won't sleep. So anybody wants to chime in on this, but I think Jennifer might be the go-to on this question. Well, what's the difference between using media for promotion versus using it for contribution?
All right. Well, I think that you all have seen the commercials where we just are talking about a brand. That is promotion. Branding, on the other hand, is what you represent. So when you're using media just for promotion, you're just representing a product itself. When you're using media for branding, you are building your story, what you really are, what you deeply, deeply believe on, and that's what makes a big difference, because brands come and go. I mean, there's some brands that have been around forever, but people remember more than anything your story, and they connect with the branding of who you are, not with the brand that you represent. So that is a big difference. When you put yourself out there in media, just remember who you are, and that your story has to be honest, coming from the heart, what you've gone through. And that experience connects with people tremendously. They always remember the story. The lady that fell in the parking lot, you know, the person who had a terrible car accident, and what's her name? Yadira Gonzalez Munoz from I Am Magazine. You remember the story way before you remember a brand. That's
truth. And Kevin Vaughn, he already had he's got to go somewhere. So Kevin, if you want to answer that, or just any parting words that you want to leave with folks before we say goodbye to you.
Oh, thank you so much. We're excited about that. Jennifer hit right on the head. I wrote down 2 words, guys, while she was talking. One is connections. We want connections. We want authentic connections, guys, as human beings. No doubt about it. I don't care what part of the planet you're on. I think we all want connections, at least some of us anyway. I'll say most of the planet does, right? And the other thing, guys, and Mike, I know you guys are going to enjoy this and everybody else, is relationships. Man, getting to know Curtis, getting to know Jennifer, getting to know Kevin, getting to know Mike, getting to know all the team that's part of I Am Magazine. That's important to me, guys. It takes time, right? It takes time, and you got to earn it, because they may not accept you all the time, but it's so rewarding once that happens. So folks, we just got to build those relationships, network. One of my favorite phrases, Mike, is network the planet, and you're going to find some great people, believe me.
Yeah. Hey, we're proof positive. I didn't find this opportunity and you guys by a DM and a cold email. I found this by Supermom, who we're going to shout out. But Kevin, Vaughn, appreciate you, my friend.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah, you walk the walk, brother. We'll see you around.
Guys. Thank you so much.
Oh, my goodness gracious. So who else wants to tackle? Who wants to throw in on that? What is the difference in your mind, right? Your experience between media, using it for promotion versus contribution?
I can just piggyback briefly, Michael, what Jennifer said is I think the most underappreciated or underutilized brand is brand you, Y-O-U. Too many people focus on our product, but at the end of the day, we're our own brands. And how we lead and our values and integrity and character, that shapes our brand. And, if those are in the business world or they're in sales and they're promoting a product or whatever it may be, that's fine. But if people believe in you and your brand, they will believe in what it is that you're about or what it is that you might be selling. And if you're selling a product, this is where integrity and character matters, is that you're not going to sell something you don't believe in.
Right. I'm not.
And if you do, that's a misalignment of some kind, and people will sense that. So I think we all are our own way, our own brand, and it begins with integrity and character. And, Kevin touched on the importance of relationships and connections. And earlier I mentioned about loneliness. The Surgeon General of the United States, there was an epidemic of loneliness in this country. And well, how do you cure loneliness? Well, it's connections, it's relationships. It's out there serving, it's giving, living to give, and being around other people. And those are the things. None of us could get through this world alone. We rely on authentic, true relationships. And sometimes we lose sight of that. We get caught up in our own world of titles, status, whatever it may be. And often, we forget what matters most, which is the space between the notes. I mean, to use a music analogy, I mean, the notes are the titles, the achievements, the awards, the fame, whatever it may be. But it was an analogy given to me just recently by a good friend of mine, Alan Williams from the United Kingdom. And he said about music, we often focus on the notes. But imagine music where if all the notes were bunched together, what would it be? It's the space between the notes that really makes beautiful music. And if we think of our lives in that way, it's, the achievements are nice, but what is the space between them? It's the people, the relationships, our families, our friends. At the end of the day, and as you live life long enough, you start to appreciate those little things more because they really are the big things. That space between the notes is so important.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Man, you just get more poetry. We'll put you on a Hallmark card. What do you think? He must be sitting around reading poems. You're really getting good at this, man.
I couldn't tell you half of what I just said, Mike, but whatever came out, I guess it went out okay.
That's because it's real,
It was
Kevin.
perfect. It was beautiful.
Yeah, well said. And while I had to get a shout out. I'm going to go to Curtis on this legacy question, but I got to give a who got this ball rolling. Lachelle Atkins, America's supermom. She's got 15 kids. So, hey, that's not a moniker. That's the truth. She got the Atlanta Falcons at her house, basically. But she got the ball rolling. And here's how powerful alignment and trust is. We haven't talked probably for over a year. I mean, we're just busy people. I mean, nothing happened. And all of a sudden she says, you need to meet these ladies. And look at the snowball effect, guys. It's unbelievable. I mean, gee whiz. So, Curtis, speaking of this, because that's what we're after. We're not just after income and revenue, and nothing wrong with that. Well, what makes us is that we want to take that way farther, right, Curtis? We want to take that to legacy. When I'm no longer on this earth, man, the things keep rolling, right? People have better opportunity, better things. They take what I built, make it even better, right? That's the whole goal, Kevin. So, Curtis, this one's for you to start. When you hear that word legacy, what does it mean to you beyond the money and success and all that? Because you've been there.
Yeah, it's a great question. I think for me, it's the obvious thing of, you come down to earth. How do you leave it? Do you leave it a better place? Not just from all the interactions you had and the differences you made, but beyond your model coil, what difference have you left for others to pick up and carry on? So if I've written a book and that book can be read 50 years after my passing, and somebody can open that book and read thoughts that I had maybe 70 years before that, like I read books that are 100 years old and gain knowledge and wisdom from. So I just love all of that thing. So all of those things, the books, the courses, the lives we've touched, that they then go on to teach their children those words of wisdom and of love and unity and integrity. So just, making the world a better place, just, one person at a time, one book at a time, one program at a time, and the legacy that is left behind to raise everyone's vibration just that tiny bit. And if we're all doing that, what a massive difference that will make around the world.
You just hit the, Jennifer, I'll let you answer it your way, but you hit the nail on the head. How many times, and you don't have to admit it, I wouldn't admit it before either on chat, but I would think of something and go, oh, well, that's a goofy, that's whatever. But then if Curtis said it, I'd be like, oh, wow, that's actually a good idea. Like, I don't know, am I the only one?
I've had those moments. I've had those moments many times where I have to rethink the way that I look at things, because what it's on my mind, it doesn't make sense. But when somebody else says it, it makes me pause. And that's why it's so important to just take a minute to analyze the situation, and what it really means, what you hear that somebody else is saying. Yeah, you have to be open. And I always say, you have to be open. Growth is about being open.
Well said. See, I don't have nothing to say after. I don't want to mess it up. That'd be like dumping too much pepper on a cuisine, right? So, but it's the truth, and that's what I mean. It's like when someone else says something, it can spark. You'll never know who admires you from afar. You'll never know the impact that you have, right? Especially in the positive. And so, Kevin Smith, woo-wee. I tried to take less than 10 hours on this one, big dog, because this is your wheelhouse. You live this, right? So, legacy. What does it mean beyond the traditional money and stuff?
Well, I've been blessed, early on in my life to shape my values, my upbringing, largely my mom in particular. But I believe the meaning of life is to live it in a way to make a meaningful difference. And as I've gotten older, the focus on legacy is more at the forefront. And I've said this many times before, but I'd like to think that whenever I depart this earth, and we're all going to depart this earth at some point in time, life is finite, every day is a gift. But I'd like to think that whenever that moment is that I will have left this world a little bit better because I lived it than had I had not. Mm-hmm. And so, Curtis mentioned about reading books, in some cases, classics go back 100 years. That's a legacy, right? Someone is going to be touched by those words long after they were written. And, speaking of books, I was actually interviewed for a book a number of weeks ago, and it came up in the conversation about kindness worldwide and legacy. And I made a comment then that sticks with me now because it's very true. I said that if kindness worldwide does not exist in 200 years, then I have failed. Despite all the good that's happened in this movement and the lives it's touched and even saved because of the ripple effects of one act of kindness, kindness worldwide is in many respects is my legacy, and it needs to outlive me. And the impact that it's had, as great as it's been, if it doesn't outlive me and we don't have a kinder world, 10 years from now, 20 years from now, 200 years from now, then it was all for naught. And if we all want our world to be a better place, we all have a role to play in that. That's why I always say kindness worldwide is our story. It's not mine, because we all have a role to play. And we're all writing the future chapters of this story together, but we're also, in our own way, I think we're all born with a purpose. And when we have that calling, so to speak, which Jennifer alluded to and certainly hit me right between the eyes on Good Friday morning, 2023, I think in many respects, that purpose that's like what that calling is for. And it's not like one gift or talent is better than another. I think in my faith is very important to me. I think we are all given with unique God-given gifts and talents. In God's eyes, none are bigger or smaller than the other. They're all one and the same. And whatever those gifts are, when we're called to use them, we need to follow the call. And if we do, we will each leave the world a better place because we lived in it than had we not. That's what legacy means to me.
I do want to add something. And
Please
I
do.
love, Kev, you are so good at what you are saying because it really reflects exactly how I feel. But I also want to add that real success not necessarily has to be a big endeavor. It can also be, it shows up on how people can remember you. You don't have to have a large company. Your legacy could be something, not what you've accumulated, but how you make someone feel, or how you showed up for them, or whether you created a space for others to be seen or heard or change for the better. It doesn't matter the size of the circle or the community that you're in. It could be just within your family. And that success represents your legacy. It's about how you're living the conversations. You have to live them better than you found them. Your relationships to be stronger, and a legacy should be rooted on integrity, in presence and purpose, regardless of the size of that legacy. It can be just as small as a legacy that you leave for your own family. And I don't want everybody to think, oh, if it's not big, if it's not worldwide recognized, it's not good enough. Not true. Your legacy could be small, but powerful. So don't just give up. If it's not meant to be big, that's okay. The important thing is that you show up for the people that surround you and make sure that they remember you for the right things.
Daggum straight, because most of the folks, I would even say to a large degree, Kevin, he didn't have a business plan when this all unfolded. It happened to him, right? It was Michael Binko,
I
right?
still don't have a business plan. I'm just still winging it as I go.
No, you got a redneck and a Michael Binko. That's what you got. And but you're right. I mean, you don't have to do some grandiose thing. And most of the leaders I love the most are the folks who are like, I don't know about that. Like, who am I, right? The humble leader. And, but you're right. I love that. Just go do something. Life's worth living. I used to cling to comfort and safety. That was overrated. All right, now we're living. So let me ask you. Go ahead.
If I could just piggyback briefly, Mike, on Jennifer's comment, I so agree, and I'm so glad you shared that, because the little things are really the big things. We often lose sight of that. And I'll just give one example of a little thing that I'm sure at the time this young woman said it, was a very little thing. Didn't think twice about it. But in the film, I won't give too many spoilers, but there was a comment by a young student in high school to someone who was really having a hard time and really a bad state of his life. Bad things were happening, and his self-worth, his self-esteem was gone. And this young woman made a comment to him. He made a mistake. It was some sort of agenda. He spelled a word wrong. And he said, "I bet you think I'm pretty stupid, huh?" Because he just felt that was his lack of self-esteem at the time. And her reply to him, which he still remembers this day, 40 years later, she said, "Oh, no, I don't. I think you're pretty neat." All right. Now, that one comment in high school had a profound impact on his life. He still talks about it all these years later. The point is that none of us know those little comments, a smile, a hello, being in someone else's world at a time we may not realize that someone is dealing with something that changed a life. That was a huge thing that I would argue changed the world, as innocent as that comment was. And we all have that ability to do those little things each and every day. We often underestimate how powerful they are.
Daggum straight. Curtis, you're still awake, man. You were a trooper and a half. Right? You want to add something to this, or are you good?
I don't think there's anything to add to that. That was all spot on, really. And I've got about another 30 seconds before I nod off, so I'll just keep smiling and nodding.
Yeah, April just said go to bed. It's right there. Go to sleep. Well, yeah, no, you can do that. We're about done. We're going to close out in a few, but go ahead and tell us any parting words, Curtis. What, takeaways, why are you, if you don't mind, add what you want. But I would love to know before you go, you're a busy guy, to say the least, man. You've accomplished a lot. Why did you jump all over this opportunity to be a contributor to this magazine and support it the way you do? What are you hoping that it will do for others?
It was an empty void that was being filled, the way I looked at it. That the whole idea of reaching out for everything we've discussed, across the board, not just it's not your typical men's fitness, get in shape thing. It's looking at the vulnerabilities, people's mental health, men's mental health that's often swept under the carpet, and not only talking about it, but showing that it's okay to talk about these things, So all of those subject matters, and that's what I do anyway. So what a wonderful platform to be able to make a difference and reach out. And I always just think, even if one person reads an article that I've contributed to that and it makes a difference, then it was worthwhile. And hopefully there'll be many more than that. But that's what to get involved with something that worldwide can help people in that way, it can only be a good thing.
All right. Well, I'm not going to let you fall asleep on camera, man. We won't do that to you. But it's that starfish. You ever heard that starfish story? Where the guy, his kid's walking on the beach throwing the starfish back, and the guy comes up and says, "Why are you doing that? You can't save them all. It doesn't matter." He says, "Well, it matters to this one." That's what I hear, the reverbing message coming out to this whole panel, this whole magazine. And every time y'all open your mouth, to be honest, and that's it, and by one could lead to more, and, it compounds. It could turn into thousands, millions. Why not? And together we're proving it, right? I mean, we're doing this together, pushing each other up, right? Unbelievable. Like, I just didn't contribute to the magazine. I wanted to blast this to the rooftops. And what do these ladies do? Reciprocate, ping pong, back and forth. So, Curtis, if you need to drop, brother, go ahead. We're not going to extend it much longer, but I do have two key questions for Jennifer, and then for both Kevin and Jennifer, and we'll close out, folks. And we'll have to have a part 2, right? Once the magazine launches for a couple months, we'll come back in March is Women's Month, so we got to talk anyway. I'm going to
International
do
Women's Month.
Internet. We're going to plan. All right, so yeah, don't tell nobody. It's just live. Okay? So Curtis, if you got a role, appreciate you, brother, and everybody go. Shameless plug. I'm going to pop him in there. Curtis Rivers. All right, find him on LinkedIn.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Go ahead. Go find Curtis Rivers, folks. He ain't hard to find. He's all around the Hounds. Go check him out on LinkedIn. Amazing guy, amazing guide.
And read his articles.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Go to I Am in Men's Division on the website. It's right there on the ticker. All right, on the screen. So, folks, let me ask you these 2 questions, and I'll ask you and Kevin, and then we'll close out. Jennifer, who is this magazine really for, and who is it not for?
It's for everyone. Just like the original magazine was read by women and men, this is a magazine that can be read by men and women. Why? Because what we're building is a space that we can share stories and honor the honesty and the humanity of what is being contributed. And we can all grow. We can all learn. We're sparking conversations that matter, creating connections that last. And it really, at the end of the day, is showing up and making a big difference. So that's what excites me about this magazine. It's the community we're building and how real it is and how it can help in so many different ways. We can actually make a difference. This is really not about only content. It's about presence, and really presence changes everything. I'm so excited about this because I know that this platform is about to blow out, in every person that touches the magazine will make an impact, and every person that the magazine touches will be impacted by it.
I don't have any arguments with that. I absolutely believe that. And because I love the opportunity to push this out. It's just, it's like, oh, it's just a magazine. No, it's not just a magazine. You're seeing movements and visionaries and people who didn't sign up for that job, right? That's the most impressive part. People like Kevin and you and all the folks in the Hounds comments, they're everywhere. And now they're uniting and pushing each other up, right? We're not reinventing the wheel. We're just combining wheels. It's unbelievable the compound effect this brings. And so let me ask this one, and we'll close out. Jennifer, what excites you most about this magazine, this community, and where it is heading?
Well, like I was saying, I just love the idea of providing a platform. If you think about it, for such a long time, it has been there has not been a place where men can be honest about their feelings. This magazine is finally giving you a place that is not about promotion, it's about presence. Speaking intentionally and contribute to a community that deserves to be heard, a community that needs a place where they can feel like they can get answers and connect with the people that are contributing to the magazine. It's not only about contribution, it's also about collaborations. We'd like to have it all together. So the way the magazine is working right now and in the direction that we're going to, it is an international magazine. It's a digital magazine distributed worldwide. Think about the connections that we can make culturally, emotionally, physically, events that are being created worldwide that we can all connect to, meeting other people in different types of the world that can bring us a different perspective. I love where the magazine is going, and the men's magazine, the women's magazine, the Spanish magazine, all of these magazines are in a platform that serves people. And I am very adamant about that. Whenever I talk to somebody, my first question is, how can I serve you? And that's what this platform is about. It's about serving others first.
Yeah, that's no joke because you're out of retirement for this. So you know it's a fact. Because you work tirelessly. I mean, most of us work hard, but holy cow, I don't think you slept since what, last year? Like November at least. Kevin's like me neither. Right? We saw Curtis
Yeah.
falling asleep on the show. So these are doers, and it's not because we have ego issues and stuff. It's because we just care. But probably not. And you could chime in before we ask the last question. But for me, it's because other people did it for me. How can I not do it for others? I mean, we just saw Dr. CJ, April. I could go on and on with this whole list of people in this comments. And people go, why do you do this? Why do you do that? Because they did it for me. And they did it without any guarantee of success or payback. They did it just because they that's who they are. And it doesn't mean you can't make money and do a business, but it means that heart comes first. Heart is the foundation to business and everything else to us. And that's the calling card, right? Right, Kevin? I mean, look, you had a good business, good everything. Everybody loved you. You lost your wallet. You went on a wild goose chase, and look how many lives that's already impacted, right? I mean, so I'm preaching to the choir, right?
All heart, no ego. And I think of the vision of kindness worldwide is to create a culture of kindness in communities throughout the world. So I think of community. Well, the I Am Magazine community. I think of a culture of kindness. That's community. That's kindness. I think of the Hounds of Business community. People with good hearts. There's no better leadership than heart-centered leadership. People that are guided for selfless service. A purpose greater than themselves. And, everyone in the I Am Magazine community and Jennifer and Mike and your community, all good people who have a foundation of heart, integrity, character, guided by passion and purpose. And yes, we all have to take care of ourselves and our families. And, but we also, I think, have an obligation to give back to others, because at the end of the day, when we look back, it's what we do for others is what we're going to remember the most. And all those achievements, all those titles, they're all nice. But as you get older, you realize that isn't what matters. It's those genuine relationships, connections, the people whose lives we touch and enrich. That's what community is all about. And the Hounds and I Am Magazine, everyone is doing it in their own way. So I'm just honored to be part of both communities. And I'm grateful to be here and for all the wonderful work that everyone is doing.
Well said. And Sharon, I am so glad to see. I haven't seen Sharon for a while. And she said, it's only when I was talking about going to sleep. She's like, I said last year. She's like, it's only been 7 days. That's funny. Thank you for that. And so last wrap up question, Kevin, we'll just lead it with you and we'll close out with Jennifer. And next, hey, shameless plug, tune in for the one and only. She's on the screen, April Wyatt. We'll be interviewing Shonda Spates and Keith Mercer. If you're talking about leadership at the next level, helping our youth and young people, don't miss this one, folks. You want to network with some of the best again? You show up to that show. While we're killing it at PodFest, Kevin. Yeah, I can't wait. So here's the last question for you. Real simple. If someone takes one thing away from tonight, all right, what do you hope it is?
Well, if there's one thing I hope people take away tonight, is this: your story matters. Not just the polished parts, not just the wins, not just the accolades, but all of it. The struggles, the lessons, the growth, showing up fully, owning your journey. I always talk about that, and that's where I am. We have to own our journey and begin being present for yourself and for others, and that's where the real impact begins, with your I am. Because when you honor your story, you give other permissions to do the same. And that is how we build connection, trust, and most importantly, community, our community.
Yeah, if I can do it, you can do it.
Exactly.
People are going to look at me and go, oh, that's true. I mean, and I'm not downgrading myself. I'm just saying I'm okay writing vulnerably. I mean, at first I wasn't. I thought I was tough. I started writing and I was like, uh-oh, should I go this far? Did I be this open and vulnerable about this? And
absolutely.
See, again, iron sharpens iron. I'm like, well, Kevin, what are you doing? Being vulnerable. I'm like, well, that encouraged me a little. I was like, okay, well, if Kevin and David Manansky and all these tough dudes are out here just being open, not because we need attention, it's because we want other people to get up, and because success and opportunity and impact's not going to plop its ass on the couch next to you, right? You're going to have to go out there and make it happen. And that's why we band together, our communities, our movements. We're not bragging. We're just saying, hey, you throw bat symbol up, Batman shows up. We're just throwing it out there. Get up. You don't have to. Well, I don't have it together. Again,
You don't have to.
No, you don't. And by the way, she showed up. She missed it. Go back and rewind this, Lachelle. I threw you up there. All right. So that's the lady who made the introduction and got this huge snowball. She is absolutely amazing. Go connect with her on LinkedIn. She's got great TV. Everything she does, her events, phenomenal. So, yep, I'm going to throw it out there and embarrass you, my friend, if that's possible. Lachelle Atkins, Supermom, not a moniker. Real daggum. She's the real deal, y'all. And by the way, since I'm over here gushing on her, when I got, people don't know this real quick. I know it's getting late, but I got to. It's her fault. We're going late because it's your fault, Lachelle. But when I put my hat on for my mentor and I went on my first live stream, I got beat up. Oh, I got beat up bad. This guy, he was not a nice guy, to say the least, right? And I know y'all be digging around trying to find that. It's gone. Okay. And I don't talk about it because it's negative. But why I'm bringing it up is because Lachelle, she was the water to that fire. Lachelle said, hey, why don't you come on my show? Because I was ready to quit. That was brutal. I was scarred for life with that. And Lachelle said, no, come on my show. And as crusty as I was, no clarity, no message, nothing like you see today at all. And she gave me the best experience, helped me, made me look good, and it really launched this ball. And so, Lachelle, I hope you know not only the people you've impacted directly and indirectly, but over here, that compound effect, hey, bravo, my friend. So you need something, you just call me, all right? Redneck Santa's got you, all right? So, Kevin, you want to end us with the answer to that? What one thing you want somebody to take away from tonight, or in general, from the contributions, from the magazine articles? What is it?
Well, I think Jennifer said it beautifully. Just to piggyback a little bit on what she said, is I think we all have the ability to make a difference simply by being the reason someone else feels seen, understanding their stories, and being the reason someone believes in the goodness of people. We all have that ability within us, and it's all about making a difference, making an impact. And it's simply a choice that we each have within us to make. And if we make wise choices, simply just the little things, just to choose to be kind, our world will instantly be a better place.
That's it. So, folks, if you can make it to Podfest, I can get you a 20% off. DM me. All right, we've got a whole plus, because of connection, because of all the things we talked about in practice, we get to see, documentary, right? So we're going to, come on, let's go. All right. So if you want that, DM me and I can get you some discounts, but it's going to be an absolute ball. We're going to have a blast. So I appreciate you all for coming today. Folks in the comments, I was getting nervous. I knew there was a tech issue. StreamYard wrote, and no comments were coming in at first. I was like, oh, what'd I do? First show of the year, nobody watching. And all of a sudden they piled in. So folks, appreciate you. Seriously, thank you for showing up right after the holidays, during dinner time. Family's probably getting on you. And you're in here networking, commenting, contributing. This is why it works, right? So thank you all so much. Thank everybody involved. Again, Lachelle, all the folks in the comments. This is you. This is your show. And so I'll just end on this. No strays out there. If you have a desire, even a tiny little ember, don't even have to be a full-blown fire. Just you're not, it hasn't snuffed out completely yet. It's still buried in there. All you need is the right room. All you need is the right people, resources, support to start getting it done. It won't be overnight. It's not a microwave, but it can be done. All right. I'm living proof of it. So is all the people up here talking, right? And all the people in the comments. Your invitation, plug in, DM me. I've got a group call. We can have a chat if we got time. We've got plenty of places to plug you in. Kevin Smith has ambassadors running around, the Elite Business Care Bears that I informally refer to them as. And you just need support. That's it. Nothing wrong with you. You just got to support, dial it in. All right. So we're going to let y'all go. Appreciate you a million. Any last words before we go? Or we said it all?
I think we've said it all. Just go out there and live your best life.
Absolutely. No argument. Well, let's do it. And again, tune in next week. The one and only April Wyatt's going to be having a stellar panel with 2 inspirational folks. Don't miss it. We'll catch you on the next one. I'll see you at Podfest. We'll be restreaming and we'll be doing live shows throughout. So you'll have a lot of bloopers because I'll be there being me. So it's going to be a lot of fun and we're going to have a lot of impact. So we'll take care. Everybody wave. Be good. Thank y'all for stopping by. Be sure to follow, share, and like, and send me a message if you had fun today. Y'all come back now.